Hey my friends, in this video I'm gonna show you 10 quick tips that you can apply to reduce the noise or the hum or the buzz, whatever you call it, when playing guitar without having to use a noise suppressor or a noise gate pedal. Most of the times when we rely on those pedals, it sucks some of our tone, and I think it is wiser to actually solve the problem at the source. So the 10 tips I'm going to show you today are going to make a small difference one by one, but it's by combining them that you will most probably solve your noise problem. So let's start at number one, which is don't use daisy chaining cables. If you are using those cables right here to plug all of your pedals into the same power supply, you should stop right now. This is the main reason why some of the rigs have a lot of noise. It draws the current from the same power supply and tries to spread it through many different pedals, and it introduces so much noise in your setup. So completely ditch that, completely get rid of that. And at number two, it is the solution to number one. It's to use a power supply with isolated outputs. So make sure that when you get a power brick like the Voodoo Lab like this, it is written that it is an isolated power supply, because sometimes you can get some power bricks like this that looks like it is isolated, but it's the same thing as daisy chaining your pedals. It's just the same. It's just in a box, right? So when it's isolated, all of your pedals get their current from one source only. It is not shared, and it's gonna make a big difference in the noise ratio of your pedal board. Number three, use high quality cables. I'm always amazed when I see guitar players with like $5,000 pedal board, but they still use some cheap instrument cables that cost like $10. You should invest in good instruments cables. So those are Mogami cables, and they are gold plated, which makes a big difference. I have another video on my channel that's called "Are expensive instrument cables worth it?" And the conclusion of this video is yes, they are totally worth it. They really reduce the noise ratio on your pedal board and on your rig. I'm going to show you a small clip so that you can make a difference between the noise of regular cables and those ones. It's better if you have headphones, but if you want to listen to the whole video, you can click on the upper card and watch it after too. Number four, plug all of your gear and your amps into the same power strip. I know it sounds stupid, but when you plug all of your things in your home studio, your pedal board, your amps, your audio interface, your computer, your studio monitor, when you plug them into different outlets in your studio, it might be in different circuits in your house. And when you connect all of that together, it can create what we call ground loops. So if you can, like me, I'm using two amps at the same time to play in stereo. So I am plugging both of my amps and my pedal board into the same power strip, and that solves the problem right here. Recently, I bought a new computer and a new audio interface, and as soon as I plugged everything, my studio monitor started buzzing like crazy, and I didn't know what was wrong. Like, is my new audio interface faulty? And then I just realized that when I moved things around, I plugged things in different places, so I just rearranged all the cablings. I plugged everything in the same power strip, and now, boom, the noise was gone on my studio monitors. So that's an easy solution. Number five, play with humbucker pickups or high quality noiseless single coils. So it's not a secret, when you play with humbuckers, you get a lot less noise. But if you want to play with single coils like I do, make sure that you have good quality coils right here. If you have bad quality or cheap single coils or even humbuckers, it's going to create more noise, and it has to be properly shielded too. But in my case, since I have noiseless pickups, and it doesn't mean that it doesn't have noise, it's just it has a lot less noise, it's a great investment to have good quality pickups, so that can help also. Number 6, use shorter cables. The overall length of your cables from your guitar to your pedal board to your amps, it's going to dictate how much noise is going to be introduced and how much you're going to lose some definition in your sound and on some of your high end, right? So you want to shorten this as much as possible. If you have some 30 feet instrument cables and you're just playing at home, it is not necessary. You can cut on that and buy some shorter cables. Same goes on your pedal board, right? Try to think about the chain of your board and where your pedals are placed to reduce the amount of cables that you need. If you have one row on the top and then you need super long patch cables like these to go to the second row and then to the third row, you just have too much length of cable for nothing, right? And also you can look at your pedal board and tell yourself, do I really need every single pedal on my board? Do I use them all? Sometimes removing some of the pedals is going to shorten the length also, so think about all of this. Number 7, use a buffer pedal. So if you have a big pedal board and all of your pedals are true bypass, it's a good idea to have a dedicated buffer pedal, or at least a pedal that can be used in buffer mode. So for example, I know that Strymons, you can choose whether you use the pedal in true bypass mode or in buffered bypass mode. So in essence, a buffer just allows you to keep your signal intact, keep the integrity of your signal. When you have long lengths of cables, like I said, and lots of true bypass pedals, you can get more noise and lose some definition, some high end on your sound. So a buffer helps a lot with that. Number 8, reduce the gain on your distortion or overdrive pedals. Can we be honest for a minute? Sometimes we overdo it with the gain on our overdrives or distortions because we are insecure about the imperfections of our playing, right? But it's much better if you actually take the time to work on the precision of your picking with a clean sound, so that when you use gain pedals after that, you can back off on the gain and be confident that you can play great and that you don't need too much gain to mask your mistakes, because those pedals are going to be the worst ones to introduce noise in your rig, because you amplify the sound a lot and you distort it, right? So the noise is going to be more noticeable with them. So just back off on the gain a little bit. Number 9, consider removing the compressor pedal from your rig if you're using one. Unless you are really playing some country and chicken picking licks and it's really an effect in itself, like it's a big part of your sound, I would consider removing it. Because a compressor can be used to get more sustain, to get a more consistent playing. But the problem is that since it's going to squash your sound a little bit and raise it to get more sustain, it means it's going to compress the noise and raise it too. So you get more noise by using a compressor too. So 1 or 2 years ago, I decided to remove it from my board and I never came back to it. I actually made a full video explaining all the reasons why I'm not using a compressor anymore. You can click on it to watch it after, but you can reconsider. I don't believe that a compressor is a must-have effect on your pedal board. It's a nice to have, but if you are more worried about the noise ratio of your rig, removing it can be a solution. And number 10, find the optimal spot in your room if you are recording or playing at home. The pickups on your electric guitar are going to pick up some of the electrical circuit and frequencies that are around your house. So sometimes when you just angle your guitar in different ways, you can find a quieter spot to play and to record, and you can just mark it and try to play in this exact spot right here. It could be for so many reasons. It might just be the way the electrical circuits are wired in your house. It could be if you are close to a computer or a refrigerator or a fan. So just find a better spot. In my case, in my home studio, when I'm too close to my computer, I get some nasty noise. So I just back off from the computer. I go in an angle to have the computer at my back, and it's the best spot to make my YouTube lessons and to record in my home studio. And bonus tip number 11, live with some noise. It's okay to have a little bit of noise coming from your amps. Don't forget, we are amplifying a signal. We have pickups. It's normal to have a little bit of noise as long as it doesn't distract the listeners from what you're playing, as long as it's not a super annoying frequency while you are playing. It's okay to have a little bit of noise. If you are recording at home, you can always use a denoiser plugin to remove some of it too. So when I'm recording, I actually always record the noise of my setup alone so that I can use a denoiser plugin like the Waves Z Noise. It's gonna try to find and learn the kind of the curve of the noise profile, and you can just remove it after that. And if you don't go with too much aggressive settings on your denoiser plugin, it can still sound very natural and remove most of it. So I hope that if you apply most of these tips, you will solve your noise problems. If you are looking for new things to learn on guitar, I actually have some free courses on my website that you can check out. My most popular is on spread triad chords. If you don't know how to play those chords on guitar, they are a must. And I'm showing you everything in this course. The shapes for major, minor, diminished, suspended, how to make your chord progressions with it, how to play it anywhere on the fretboard and in all keys, and you can download the chord charts, the exercises. It's super valuable. So if you want to keep learning with me, you can click on the first link in the description box to check out my free courses. It is my pleasure. It's my gift to you for watching my video. So thanks for watching, and until next time, au revoir.